So you might wonder where all the lenses are. You see only cameras here, my MacBook, my iPhone, but no lenses. That's because I'm renting cameras. When I have an order or something similar, I'm just renting. Like, I need my basic stuff to do my content, but when it comes with a client, you need different equipment depending on the client, so I'm renting it based on the order the client does. So if it's for everyday life, I go out with my Moment bag and tap in. It's a pretty decent bag, and it can extend if you need it bigger. And mostly I go with my tripod. If I need something sport, anything related, this goes on, like the Insta360 sticks, that one which makes purely for sports. So for everyday life it's basically only this, my iPhone, and that's it. Maybe if I'm recording I use my Rode mic, but other than that, that's it. And probably my Leica XU. It's waterproof, but only 15 meters, so I'm thinking about switching. If I make an extended shoot, I definitely go with that. I have the 360, but I'm trying to get this for FPV drones, because that gives me a better shot. I know DJI has brought out some new drones, including the FPV, but for me, man, it's plastic, you know. And FPV drones, everyone who flies an FPV drone will say they crash. They are supposed to crash, and it's still plastic, so you won't get anything around it. And I honestly can't afford. If I'm traveling, I crash the drone, I can't wait until I get to Germany or whatever to just get it fixed. So for me, I still stick to a traditional FPV drone, and if any drones are necessary for a certain order, I still rent them. So I keep it nice and clean. This is still the most extended one. I was pretty much betting on this one, really thinking hard, like over a year before I got those. But the possibility it gave me was just too much. And we have the cat, but the cat is not included. 5 terabyte. New try. Seems pretty solid. So far I can't blame. And this is the new MacBook Air. 250 gigabyte. The very basic. Like no big fancy stuff like 1 terabyte or anything. I want to have this the minimum, except for the iPhone. This is the 500. But still, it's the Pro Max. I got this because of the bigger sensor, and when you're gaming, you are used to holding. One moment. Ignore the picture of my wife and mine. Like, I held it like this, so I'm used to it. But other than that, this is pretty much it. Like you can see. Ignore the cat, please. I forgot. This is for my iPhone. If I want to have, I know Peak Design has one included, but when you do some sports and you wanna take a video with your iPhone, you can use this on that. It still sticks. This is the connector from the mic to the Insta360, and this is the connector from the mic to iPhone. So that one's done. This is a classic one. I'm still, I love this camera. This isn't my first Leica. I had a Q2, but the Q2, well, it's another chapter. If you want to know, type it down in the comments. This is perfect. it's rock solid. I can take it in the water. I already tried it, but 50 meters is still limited, and the APS-C sensor with 16 megabyte. The pictures out there are beautiful, definitely, but a fixed lens, I know you all see here fixed lens, but from time to time from some shoots I wish go with the zoom lens, but I will try one with the zoom lens and then decide. The important thing if you want to keep your gear minimal is like really taking time. Rent some cameras, give it a try, and if you see it fits or it fits not. I'm not a fan of keeping gear just because a single client ordered one time way back an order. There's renting, there's like minimal cost. Actually, you can put that extra cost on the bill for the client, so there is no need to keep a big heavy gear. I know some of you maybe saw Peter McKinnon's, and he got rid of a lot of stuff, and actually when I was looking at the stuff, I was like, man, this looks like a shock to me. So because I'm a travel photographer, currently stranded, yeah, you know, but I keep it minimal like this. This gets me to carry on luggage, so I'm pretty satisfied with that. But that can depend, you know. From 1 year ago I didn't have the Insta360, so this thing was like basically half. There wasn't a big belt on it, there wasn't the sticks. I still had the road mic, yes, of course. I still had my Leica, and I didn't have this minimum. I already traveled with those. And yeah, this is the case for this guy. Keeps it all clean, and this is the case for the wires. For the MacBook and the iPhone, the wires. There goes some SD cards. But that's pretty much it. I'm sure someone would just travel with an iPhone and that's it. I can imagine that. There are actually some photographers who do that. But, well, I don't know, honestly. From time to time I notice I love the iPhone, I love photography with the iPhone, but it's still, when I'm going with it in water, I still have a case. Oh right, I forgot that case, one moment. So there is this case. I've tried it out several times. You can use this with an Insta360, you can use it with the mobile phone. It doesn't take big purchase, but it's still rock solid for the minimum stuff. When I will take underwater photography to the next level, I will make up my mind, but so far that's why I kept that Leica for 50 meters. That one still got me covered. But other than that, this is still not the finish line. I can imagine in 1 year there will be different sets in it. But one thing kept me in, and it's the iPhone and the MacBook. I tried with an iPad for 4 years, but the software is still too limited for, I would consider it professional use. So all of these has kept me in Tenerife safe. In Europe this was perfectly. I can't wait when I travel to Asia, Bali, Thailand, if this will still keep me going. I can't think of it, but probably when I go deep dive. But I will fix that too. I mean, and I have a ground rule. When I buy something new, something from these got to go, because yeah, you carry around all that stuff. I mean, when I started back then in 2009, this was only camera. So of course when you compare with when you started and you know how it started, how it's going, Of course there's a difference, but I don't like to be too crowded. I still want to fit my package and carry on only, and I want to be flexible as possible. But if that helped you, type it down in the comments. If you got anything to say, I would love to have your review or anything you want to say to that. And if you think, you call that minimalist? There's more than 3 things there. I can understand it, but for me, minimalism is basically only the thing that makes me happy. And the only thing that's like a maybe out of it is like the Leica. It's great, but sometimes you get on your limits and then you wish you would have another option. I experienced that with Evan Ramft. He said he had a QP, and I know the Q is great, but when you get in certain situations, you wish you had another lens, or you wish you had the weather seal in it. There comes some situation, and I don't like that. I don't want to be in situations where I feel compromised. This thing here is not a compromise to me. This thing keeps me going. I don't have to think, oh God, I want to shoot this, then I should get that. I am totally content with that. Of course, if I would have decided to take only 2 things, it would be still my iPhone and my tripod. That would be the 2 things, because I know those are the most versatile things. If I knew I would definitely go underwater, I still would have bought my underwater case for my iPhone. So, okay, that would make 3 things, like the underwater case, the iPhone, and my tripod. That would be my 3 things I would definitely take always with me, because you can take so many ways of doing photos with the iPhone. And yeah, I got the Pro Max because of the bigger sensor, and my wife has the normal Pro, and we see a difference. Even my father, who isn't a professional, sees the difference when he compares stick to stick, like Pro Max, Pro Phone. They look not the same. The biggest sensors are always showing, and I made that experience exactly with my drone. I had the Mavic 2 Pro, and the bigger sensor was showing. I'm not so sure with the Air 2 if that's still the case. That's the thing with digital. There's still the latest technology always shows a bigger picture, but you can't beat a bigger sensor, but only when it comes to printing, or when you have it on a big screen. Then it's showing, oh, that's a mobile phone, that's a smaller sensor. But that's basically it. You don't need a huge camera to make great photos. And for the times when you've got a client, unless you shoot like every day a different client, then of course renting gets a bit stressful. That I can understand, but lately, maybe it's because of the pandemic, there hasn't been much customers there. I'm more into edit now because I can do that remote, and I don't need a company necessarily local there. But that's basically it. So type in the comment what you thought about it, and let's see you next Sunday.